My apple upside down cake. This is so delicious. It's such a treat of that delicious apple topping, or, well, it's turned upside down, but it's such a delicious treat. The cake itself that I'm going to be sharing with you. Oh my goodness. It is so good. Let's get started. I am peeling and going to slice up my apples here in strips, and they're going to be about 1/4 inch thick or so, a quarter to, yeah, about 1/4 inch thick. You don't want it too thick, and you don't want it too thin either. So 1/4 inch is a perfect size. I'm just going to go ahead and do these apples. So this is about 5 apples here. Depending on the size of your apples, you can use about 5 to 6 apples. Or if you have really large apples, go ahead and use 4. In this, we're going to go ahead and squeeze in the juice of 1 lemon. Try not to get any seeds in there. And after we're juicing our lemon, I'm just going to add in some butter, 2 tablespoons of butter, as well as some packed brown sugar. I'll have all the amounts listed below in the description box for you. Now I'm going to add in a good splash of vanilla. I have this large bottle of vanilla. I love to get this from Amazon, so it's such a good price. It seems like I can't speak today. After I've added in my vanilla, I'm going to add in some cinnamon powder. My husband likes a lot of cinnamon, so I'm going to go a little bit heavy on the cinnamon because he likes it, but we're going to add in our cinnamon. I'll have all the amounts below for you. I'm going to take this over to my stovetop now on medium heat. I just want to mix this all together carefully, and I want that butter to start melting. The apples are going to start to release its own juices, just like that. About 2 minutes later, it's going to look something like this. We want to cover this and let this cook for about another 2 to 3 minutes. 5 minutes in total is what you want these apples to cook. So you want to cover them, give it a stir every so often to make sure both sides are getting nice and evenly cooked, but for about 3 minutes while it's covered, and you can see that it's releasing all of its juices, which is going to give this a beautiful sauce. Next, we're going to add in our flour. You definitely don't want too much flour for this because we want a nice saucy apple to go on our cake. So 2 teaspoons of flour. I'm going to mix that flour in until I see no more white. I'm going to take my heat off and let my apple sit on the stove to cool completely. And once that's cooling, we're going to go right ahead and move on to making our cake batter. So we're going to make this amazing cake batter. The 2 of them combined will be just perfection. The cake alone on its own is delicious. Oh my gosh, the best thing ever. Okay, so in a bowl here, I have 1 stick of butter that is softened at room temperature. To that, I'm going to add in my cane sugar. I'm using pure cane sugar. You can use granulated sugar if you want. And it's really, really important that we mix this for about 5 to 8 minutes. After each minute, I'm going to come in and get my spatula and scrape the sides and the bottom of my bowl. I am not using my standing mixer for this. I feel like a hand mixer works best because I can really get to the bottom of the bowl. But, you know, if you want to use your stand mixer, go right ahead. Just make sure and keep scraping the bottom of that bowl. Again, 5 to 8 minutes. I let this go for about 8 minutes until it becomes this thick and pale white color. It's going to be really, really thick, like a marshmallow fluff. Just that time mixing and whipping all that air into that butter and that sugar, it's going to become really thick and fluffy, and that's what we're looking for. So really take the time to mix this really well. Next, we're going to add in our extracts. My vanilla extract again, my big bottle here. Going to add in 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. Yes, we want some flavor in this cake, so we're going to 2 tablespoons. Next, another really important flavor is some almond extract. I'm going in with 1 teaspoon, which is 2 of these small capfuls or so of this almond extract. And another really, really important flavor for me in this cake is my orange extract. You can get all these things on Amazon, probably even at the grocery store. You want 1 teaspoon as well of this orange extract. All of those flavors mixed together makes not only the cake delicious, but the apple is going to be delicious and the cake is going to be delicious. I'm just kind of swirling this together so this doesn't splatter everywhere on me because it's quite a lot of liquid going on in there. And then I'm going to mix this in. Just take about maybe 20 seconds just until it's mixed in. Next, we're going to add in our eggs 1 at a time. I'm using 2 large eggs here. 1 at a time I'm adding it in and mix it in until it's combined. After I've mixed in my first egg, I'm just going to add in my second egg. I'm sitting by the window here. It's such a beautiful day outside. It's a beautiful fall day. So if you hear all kinds of sounds, so I've added in my second egg and I'm going to mix that in. You don't really want to over mix your eggs or anything, so I'm just mixing it until it's completely combined. Beautiful and fluffy and frothy and looking good, even though it's just like raw eggs, some sugar, some butter. Still looking quite fantastic to me. Gonna get my spatula and scrape the bottoms and the sides just to make sure everything is getting incorporated, because you don't want to just miss a big splotch of something, you know? Now I'm going to add in some sour cream. If you don't have sour cream, you can substitute it with some yogurt. I'm going in with 3 tablespoons of sour cream. It's going to add a wonderful flavor and texture to our cake. Again, if you don't have it, you can sub it for some yogurt, vanilla yogurt, or something like that. Gonna mix this in. You do not want to over mix your sour cream either, so I just mix it until it's combined, and then I'm done. Now we're going to add in our dry ingredients, which I am going to sift in cake flour. Going to help make this cake really, really light and fluffy. I'm going to add in 1.5 cups of my cake flour here, as well as some baking powder and some baking soda. Don't forget, all the amounts will be listed below for you. We're going to sift in these dry ingredients. And after that is done, I'm going to get my spatula and slowly and carefully start to mix this in, and then eventually I'll just start folding it. I am not over mixing here because we still have to add in our liquid, but we're just going to mix this until it comes together. It's going to take just about 30 seconds, just until that comes together. So you're not seeing a whole big clump of flour. That looks great. That's perfect. Don't over mix it. You're not seeing clumps of flour. So we're done. Gonna add in our milk now at this point. You can use any kind of milk that you want. I'm just using regular milk here, and I'm going to, again, mix this wet in with my dry, not over mixing, just until it is combined. I'm starting off slowly so milk doesn't splatter everywhere, and I'm not alternating between wet and dry. I don't do that with my cakes anymore. This is how I find the best result for my cakes, so this is what I do. After my milk is mostly incorporated, I'm going to take about 10 seconds just to make sure the bottom and the sides are fully incorporated, because sometimes at the bottom can have little clumps of flour that's stuck, so you really want to make sure that's all incorporated and you have your gorgeous butter. My oven is preheated. Batter. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees, and my cake pan here, I'm going to rub butter all around my cake pan. Then we're going to take that glorious apple thing, what do we want to call this, that we made. I'm going to place it to the bottom of my pan. You want to make sure and spread it out so it's nice and even, and when you are pouring this, make sure and scrape off every single bit of that caramel filling or that liquid sauce that we made. Just want to make sure and get all of it in there. Then we're going to make sure and get this into a nice even layer. Nice even layer with the apples, nice even layer with the sauce. Again, my oven is at 350. It's already nice and ready to go. Beautiful, one even layer. Place our batter on top of that. Even that batter out. Give it a few taps on the counter and let this bake for about 35 to 40 minutes until it's nice and golden brown. You can insert a toothpick to make sure that it comes out clear, but about 35 to 40 minutes should be good. Let it cool for about 10 minutes before flipping it. You do want to flip this when it's nice and warm, because that way that caramel sauce, by the way, you can see I'm tapping. Just keep tapping. Just go tap friendly and tap happy to make sure and tap the bottom of that pan so that it all comes out as best as possible. You want to do this when it's nice and warm so that it's easier to remove from your pan. And there you have it, this glorious, luxurious goodness. I mean, it is perfect for this time of year. It is a great little breakfast treat, even though it is sugar on top of sugar. It's not overly sweet in my opinion. You can definitely drizzle some caramel sauce on this, serve it with some ice cream on the side. If you're not really doing it for breakfast, if it's more for dessert, or hey, if you like your ice cream for breakfast, then you do you, boo. But yes, it is absolutely delicious. Such a treat, great little treat for your holiday table, a little bit different than what's expected, and I think that's what's great. I hope you give this a try. If you try it and you enjoy it, let us know. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.